Hey Winnie, um, sorry, I'm trying to get back into. It's the first time I've ever uploaded to YouTube, so it's a little bit funky for me. The first question was, what do you think about the two-minute? What? It's late. What do you think about the two-minute are discussing in this segment? This is the third time I've recorded this video, so I'm just a touch burnt out. But I'm convinced that if I would have done it on time, everything would have worked out swimmingly. So this is what I get. Um, they're talking about an upper, middle, and lower class of workers, or not maybe class, but um, difficulty, I guess I would say. Um, so they're talking about how the upper segment or sector of jobs requires a lot more thought and academic preparation, and the lower level of jobs is a lot more personnel training because, and then the middle is things that are pretty explicit or routinely tasks that are easily automated. So, like banking, census taking, clerical operations, production line, and information management. And all of that can be done by computers. So, a lot of it is being done by computers because it's a lot cheaper than having a human actually do it. So, um, they're saying that a lot of those jobs are being phased out while they are seeing an uprise or a rise in demand of. I'm just going to make sure that this thing is hearing me so that you can hear me too. Well, I don't see any little nice audio meter, so I'm going to hope that you can hear me. Um, they're saying that those low-level jobs and the upper-level jobs are in really high demand, but the middle sector jobs are kind of being phased out. And I thought that at first I kind of connected with that because my grandparents farm. At the end of the video, it says briefly that Amazon wiped out 1,200 border stores. I think is what he said. It was kind of accented, so I couldn't really understand. But that kind of told me that the destruction of the mom and pop shops is a real thing. And I know it's a real thing because my grandparents were farmers, and I grew up on a farm, and I'm seeing the rise of the corporate farmer having the bigger and bigger machinery being able to take on more and more fields, and then having more and more capital and revenue to purchase more land and then just keep that snowball rolling down the hill. So I do see what they're saying. I think that they're completely spot on. And I think the implications of their discussion is that we are going to be pushed to either rise up to the occasion or fall by the wayside and just be phased out completely. Like we're either going to connect as a society and be able to meet this challenge head on, or we're going to fall subject to somebody else that's going to pick it up and do it. Because somebody will stand up and take that challenge, and I hope it's us. I hope that we take that, but I think that we're always being pushed to become the highest version of ourselves because progress is the law of God. The article that we read, the article Rigor Redefined, I have to refresh myself every time that I come to this. It's hard for people to focus. Okay, so it's saying that kids aren't getting what they need in school, that they're being taught academia, but they need the real life skills of being able to connect and be leaders and be creative and analyze information, because there's so much information that it's not that they need to be able to memorize, it's that they need to be able to analyze and figure out what's important and then be able to create new solutions to new problems based on the information that they've come into contact with. And the way that it relates with the podcast is that um, those middle class jobs that take this memorization, those are being phased out, and the memorization is no longer needed because we have computers for that. We need people that can create. We need people to assume that high level role, to come to the realization that they need to become the best versions of themselves. And because there's no place for people who can memorize anymore. We have tools for that, and we're going to utilize them because they're more efficient and better at those jobs than we are. Because, I mean, progress is the law of God again. So we're just being brought up to the next level. How does that article relate to what we've been learning throughout the course? It's just saying that we need to really focus on teaching kids real life skills, communication, collaboration. One of the things that the guy in the article said was that he interviewed an exec at one of the companies that made machines and mixed chemicals and stuff like that, and he asked that exec, what do you look for in new hires? And the guy said, I look for someone that can have a conversation with me, that can have a face-to-face interaction and have a give and take back and forth. Because those are the people that are going to be able to ask the questions. Those are going to be the people that can work in teams and interact with customers. And I thought I heard something. So the complaints that he hears frequently are about people with fuzzy thinking and people who don't know how to write with a real voice and communicate what they're learning effectively and have an opinion and just really stand up and be creative and have confidence in themselves to move forward in a direction and utilize their leadership qualities, because everybody's got them in one way or another, but they're just not having practice with that or really refining that quality in themselves to become that person that when they get into the workforce, it's just non-existent. And then what do I think of Nancy Coyer's ideas? I think that she's right in a lot of respects, that we are addicted in a sense to the technology that is everywhere. I mean, there's an iPad right there. My phone is sitting right here. I'm using my computer to do this that has Facebook, YouTube, Google, and my homework and my email all pulled up at once. So I'm connected all over the world just in this 3-foot radius. And she's saying that we constantly need something to do and have a constant need for stimulation. And I think that that's true to an extent. And I think that's true. I do think that's true. That we are, because there was a statistic that I saw a while ago that in sitcoms today, there's a laugh being sought after every 6 seconds, and back in the 50s or 60s, it was every 30 seconds or minute and a half or something. So it's just we need to be feeding that drive constantly. And she asked, how do we stay grounded and connected to the tangible reality we live in when there's so much virtual stuff happening? And I don't know. I mean, I kind of connected that to a Christian Science principle of why do we need to be connected to the tangible? I mean, we're looking for something, obviously. It's just like the ADHD kids. Maybe we all have ADHD, and in the medical perspective, maybe we should all be drugged with Ritalin or whatever they use nowadays. But I don't think that's it. I think that we're given that drive, that need, because we're supposed to fill it with something that's not tangible. That we're all looking for something, and people like Nancy are figuring out this tangible thing, this technology, all these electronics are not going to cut it. It's just not going to work. And we're all going to come to that because it's just the truth. And the truth is going to set us all free. That's all. I mean, this stuff is going to fall by the wayside. I remember sitting at my grandparents' farm working construction in the year that I took off right after I took this class for the first time. And I loved leaving my phone inside until I got a girlfriend, and then I just always wanted to talk to her because she was here in St. Louis and I was up there. But before that, I would just leave my phone inside and go do my stuff outside. I wasn't connected to anybody. I didn't have anybody calling me. I could do my own thing. I could have fun. And I wasn't pressured by the rest of the world, because the world was only the things that were around me. And then how do her ideas relate to what we've been learning in class? everybody wants to be connected with something that matters and that they feel a connection with, either internally or externally. So that's what we're looking for, is that. That's what we're driven by, is that need to feel connected. And if we don't have that, we're going to try and fill it with something that isn't. It's a round peg for a square hole. And then the SAMR model. Would the SAMR model help a teacher prepare students for their future? Absolutely, without a doubt, because then it starts the curriculum at the source. It starts analyzing the curriculum at the source. That's what I was looking for. Or analyzing the problem, or breaking it down to the source of the information that we're giving to the kids. We're not only filling them with just facts, because one of the articles earlier said it's not the need to memorize the facts that's important, it's the need to be able to analyze it. We have computers for the analyzation. That's why those middle class jobs are falling away, because we have computers for that sort of thing. We need to be able to analyze all the information that is given to us and critically think about it and figure out how can we utilize that and make a new solution to a current problem. And the SAMR model kind of, attacks some of that in thinking, the teacher thinking before she presents the information and the material to the students, am I using the technology as a substitution or a redefinition? Am I using it to just have these kids substitute writing in a notepad or a Word document in place of writing with a pencil? Or am I actually redefining the assignment so that it helps them to utilize different tools, think creatively, and use technology as a tool rather than a crutch to handle problems that are going to come up in their lives, or build with that tool, to tackle a different problem, or utilize different technology, or maybe integrate and connect and meld two different technologies so that you can handle more complex problems. And it's just saying to be conscious of that as an educator. And in my case, again, I'm not going to be a teacher or a professor or anything, but I'm always going to educate. I mean, I educate the people around me. I just used this class to illustrate a point to one of my friends who is my age. He's 25. He's graduated with a master's degree in aerospace engineering, and now he's working for Cessna designing planes. But I think that, of course, I forgot where I was going with that. But I think that model absolutely would help teachers prepare students for their futures. I need to go to bed. I'm sorry this was so late, Winnie, but I'm sorry. Thanks. See you later. I need to figure out how to just save this and not delete it. Display only photos. I'm sorry this is so long.